It's a long way from Dakar to Paris. 15 years have passed since the launch of the Education for All programme and the publication of the recent report on its progress. In the beginning, most countries scored well, putting in a lot of time and effort. But now the majority are getting bad marks. Only a third of the countries have managed to achieve all 6 goals set in Dakar, according to the director of UNESCO's Global Monitoring Report.
Well, I think that the biggest surprise coming out of the report is that given so much attention to this universal primary education, which has been an international goal for decades, that despite all this attention and how much money has been given to enable some of the low-income countries and poor countries to improve access for all children, despite all that, we still have 58 million children out of school. And the number has stalled. So although there was a huge amount of progress during the first 8 years after Dakar, in the last few years there's been almost minimal progress. And this does not bode well for the future.
And in which countries the situation did get really worse? Were there any negative surprises?
Well, certainly there are several countries in sub-Saharan Africa for whom the situation has worsened. One of them is Nigeria, where the number of out-of-school children has actually increased rather than declined. And we have other cases, certainly in some parts of the Arab world where conflicts have been very pronounced.
How can you convince governments to spend more money in education?
If one thinks in terms of financing and the financial aspects, there's a cost of not educating your children. There's a financial cost, there's a political cost, there's a health cost. Those children who go uneducated become illiterate adults. It has an impact on all kinds of health outcomes. Mothers who survive childbirth, the children who are able to overcome various kinds of infectious diseases, who get inoculated, who have sufficient nutrition. So the fact that we're not educating our children and our young people means that we end up increasing the pool of illiterate adults that has an enormous negative impact on the health outcomes, on the economic outcomes of these countries.
Thank you, Benavot, for joining us.
My pleasure.